Iceland recognizes Holodomor as genocide against Ukrainian people.
Here's a summary of the article.
Iceland has recognized the Holodomor of 1932–1933 as genocide against the Ukrainian people. The relevant statement was made by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Twitter, referring to Icelandic Foreign Affairs Minister Ardis Kolbrunnar Gylfadóttir, and Ukreform correspondent reports. Grateful to Iceland for recognizing the Holodomor of 1932–1933 as genocide of the Ukrainian people, for honoring the memory of millions of Ukrainians killed by the Moscow regime. It is a clear signal that such crimes do not go unpunished and do not have a statute of limitations, Zelensky wrote. A reminder that, on November 28, 2006, the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine adopted the law on the Holodomor of 1932–1933 in Ukraine, declaring the man-made famine in Ukraine from 1932 to 1933 as genocide against the Ukrainian people. More than 20 countries have officially recognized the Holodomor as genocide against the Ukrainian people.
This post received a score of 9,600, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Good. My great-grandparents lived through it, but lost a child, siblings, and their own parents.
That's what happened with my grandparents as well. Still so many people who don't believe it should be considered a genocide, let alone believe that it actually happened. I'm amazed that through every history class one took in high school it was never mentioned. This is in Canada as well. We need recognition for the approximately 6 million Ukrainians that were starved.
It's the same here in the US. I never learned anything about it until I went back to research our family history. Ukrainians weren't talked about much at all when I was in school, considered basically Russian when they were, and only worthy of negative attention in the late 90s. I didn't talk about my family much then, but I wish I had.
I was born in Ukraine but speak Russian. Up until Crimea I didn't mind if I was called Russian considering I spoke Russian, live in California. Now I'm very vocal about the difference lol.
Useful Wikipedia article on the scholarly debate about whether Holodomor was a genocide. This section in the related causes of the Holodomor is also interesting. It probably started out as a bureaucratic bungle and cronyism, but as soon as Ukrainians resisted the extermination efforts were more than merely tabulation errors. They deemed anyone who questioned the narrative of the party as dissidents. It was 100% caused by the USSR not recognizing Ukrainians as a distinct people. Here is a great timeline of the events. Historians who don't yet view it as a genocide are falling for the memory hole the Soviets left. Every indication was that the famine was engineered, albeit accidentally at first. The further actions were totally intentional.
If the Soviets didn't recognize Ukrainians as a distinct people, how could they also create policies designed to specifically eliminate them? If they viewed them as Russians or whatever, any policy they designed would treat Ukrainians equally, albeit not equitably, and thus wouldn't constitute a deliberate plan of extermination. I think a lot of debates over whether or not something counts as a genocide are really just semantic arguments. Whether or not the Holodomor was a genocide or not, Soviet imperialist policies and occupation lead to millions of preventable deaths. It is morally abhorrent either way. A semantic argument over what to label the crime seems to miss the point.
Thank you so much, Iceland. This may seem unimportant, but it's a great deal for us.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.